Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Right Reality Podcast. My name is Stephen.
And I am Mixie. We are here to recap episode 3 of Temptation Island, If There Were No Cameras. ...
Let me just say, episode 3 started with a very unexpected thing that I want to talk about absolutely immediately here, Mixie.
All right, let's go. Let's get into it. I loved this episode. It was jam-packed. Honestly, this season has blown the last season out of the water.
Agreed. 100% cosign on that. This episode started with our girl, Croissant. Croissant was... I just want to play the audio, but I'm going to give you a tiny bit of information here, everybody. A tiny bit of information in case you're not watching the show, which this episode should definitely get you in. Croissant was asked about her date, because they all went on a date last time. We didn't see anything from Croissant. And basically they said, hey, you know, did you like your date? You know, can you see it going any further? And Croissant said this.
If there was no cameras, I would suck his but I can't because there's cameras, so I have to be like a good girl, you know? Yeah.
Croissant's an icon. She is. She truly is. She's a sex-positive icon. This is not the only thing that she says. Just this episode alone, that is like, you are saying these things out loud. Okay, got it. Cool.
I'm going to piggyback off that. I mean, the cameras can hear you, Croissant. The cameras can hear you say, if they weren't there, you would have asked his D, Croissant, okay?
Yeah.
A simple yeah or I think so related to the question of do you think you could see it going further would suffice, Croissant. But Mixie, I asked you now because obviously Mayor of Big Brainville, you know way more things than I do. I was thinking, does Croissant saying I would S his D if the camera's not there basically do the same thing? She basically said that. She didn't even need to do it, but her saying that is, to me, the same as actually doing it.
Yes, that was the same thought process I had. It was like, you saying it and then versus not saying it, but us like seeing something suggestive. Honestly, seeing something suggestive, you could be like, oh, it's the angle, oh, it's the way that they edited it. But she just straight up said it on camera. I honestly think saying it is worse.
Saying it's worse because you're right. You could be like, he spilled something on his pants and I was removing his pants because I had some tea and I didn't want it to burn his peen, you know? Be like, I was trying to help him.
Yep.
You saying I would SSD if there's no cameras there.
It's game over.
Yeah, you might have just done it. And then in my head I go, please, God, give us a bonfire this episode and let him hear that. Please, God, give us the bonfire. And spoiler alert, everybody, there is a bonfire at the end of this episode. And we cannot wait to talk to you about the bonfire moment at the end of this episode, so stick around.
But, Stephen, they ended the episode.
Yeah.
That was where they ended the episode. So they knew. They knew what they were doing. Yeah. But it still was fucking amazing. Oh my God, when she said it, I was just like, God, this is going to be such a good fucking bonfire. Same thoughts. Same exact thoughts. Love it. The guys came back from their date, and Tia, they were making baked goods for the guys that were on the date, and Tia gave her baked goods to Great, and Great was like, what the hell? Or Great went to Rob, and Doorway was like, why is she trying to get with me? And Rob was like, what the hell? All pissed off. Again, I just want to reiterate what the point of this show is. The point of the show is so couples, they go to different houses and they date a bunch of people, both of them do, to figure out what they want, and then they come back and make a decision if they want to stay together or not. So, why is it not okay for Tia to shoot her shot with Great while still shooting her shot with Rob?
Because, remember, it is the idea of the show that it is the men's who should be picking these people, and it should not be the ladies being like, it's my time to shine. I think is what they're trying to say. I think. I don't necessarily agree with that, because if it was me in this situation, I would have been like, hey, everybody, there's 7 of you. I'm going to try to go on a date with every single one of you and spend a day with every single one of you to see what might be there. But I can't give these men enough credit for trying to figure something like that out. That just is a big brain move.
My whole thing was just like, why are we shaming this girl for trying to meet the eligible men that she's around? Like, I just don't get it. The whole thing didn't make any sense. They're like laughing and being like, well, I was going to take her on a date, but now fuck that. And Great's like, yeah, I'm never going to take her out on a date. Fuck. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's some like guy stuff of like, oh, I thought she was interested in me. She's interested in you now? Well, I'm not interested in her because she's interested in you. She's just trying to use us. Like, whatever. I mean, we had another Trace 2.0 situation with Tammy in this episode because one of them was like pissed that Great was like not going out with her or like on the next date. And I'm like, I started to wonder, are the ladies getting bonuses if they get dates with the guys? Like, is there like a financial bonus?
That would make sense.
For like time they spend with the guys. Hey, if you get him to pick you for a date, you get a bonus. You get like an extra $1,000 or something like that, or a T-Mobile sidekick. I don't know. Like,
this isn't the challenge in 2008.
Okay, yeah, sorry about that.
I mean, maybe that honestly would be smart on production to do something like that, because then they would be doing more of what we're seeing now. I can see that being the case for sure. Yeah,
me too. Right. That should be the idea, is that they're getting a little bit of bonus here for that type of stuff. But who knows? Mixie, I know you're the queen of seeing all the details, and even in the last episode, you showed me something that I did not see. And I'm kind of hoping that you did not see something that I saw, so I can return the favor to you.
Oh boy. Give it to me.
Did you see Tajik's shirt he was wearing?
No.
And what it said on the back of his shirt?
No.
Hell yeah!
What did it say? Oh gosh, I need it.
His shirt said, "Do MILFs, not drugs."
What an icon. See, now that's a shirt I would like to purchase and wear. Not, what excuses are for wussies or whatever the fuck shirt I now own.
Do MILFs, not drugs. From our number one F-boy on this show.
I can't wait for him to be on the new MILF Manor.
Yeah. Croissant is just falling for this guy.
Is she?
Yes. Even when you think she's out, she's back in the next moment. Croissant is all over the place. She's like an actual croissant, because at the top, it's like here. And then it goes around and you're like, no, she's out. And then it comes back around to the bottom. And you're like, oh, she's made a croissant. She's back where she started, just a little bit lower.
It's made out of a spiral, Stephen.
Ah, you're right, it is. And there's so many layers.
There's
right?
so many
like,
layers.
That's the whole idea.
Croissant. We also, after this whole situation with Tia, which still doesn't make any sense to me, Rob gets into an ITM and says that he is pretty much done with Vanessa and doesn't want to stay with her. And I'm like, let's go. Episode 3. We are out on fucking Gone Girl already. It's great.
Within the first 10 minutes of this show, I go, I hope both of those clips are shown at Bonfire. Please show both of those clips at Bonfire. Please, for the love of God, show both of those clips at Bonfire. Spoiler alert, we were not disappointed.
We were not disappointed. It was great. So, Trace 2.0.
Yes.
They had their dates. They came back. This is where we're at. We are back from the first round of dates. They're already discussing the second date.
Yes.
Which I felt like was fast, but maybe I'm wrong on that. I thought it was date 1, bonfire, date 2, bonfire, like date, bonfire, date, bonfire.
I think that was the old system,
but they got 2 dates in before bonfire.
Before the first bonfire, yeah.
Yeah. So I was a little thrown by that, but I do believe that Trace 2.0 was more thrown by it, because Great asked Tammy,
yep.
Super cute, by the way. She's super cute.
I like her.
With a little polka dot skirt. Loved that. She says yes to a date with Great. And then Great tells Trace 2.0 that he is going on a date with Tammy, and Trace 2.0 is all over the place. Now, I will say, if he asked her to come back to his room and then is going on a date with some, that's a fuck boy, and fuck him. That being said, it's still a show where he's supposed to meet multiple women and go on multiple dates. So, like, pick your lane.
Yeah, it's kind of like you don't get to be in charge of him because you were the first date, okay? Mm-hmm. That's kind of how this works. And it makes me wonder, have any of these women seen the show before to understand the concept? And did either of them realize, obviously none of them listened to the number one last year because we definitely gave Trace a whole bunch of shit for doing the same type of things that Trace 2.0 is doing right now.
Yes.
Thinking that, all of a sudden this is her man because they went out one time.
Yeah.
His name is great for a reason, okay? I am also now going to go officially on record, Mixie.
Okay.
Put it on the record that Great and Croissant have zero chance of not turning that red light on.
That is a fact, and I will double down on that with you, for sure.
They, in fact, might burn the light bulb out, and it might need to be changed midway through the television program because they are going to be turning that red light on like it's just a bathroom switch. That's all it's going to be for these two.
Yeah, it's just going to stay on, honestly. I don't think there's ever going to be a point that one of them is not in a bed with another one at the time. But I do want to say, Trace 2.0, she gives him the biz. She's like, fuck you. You know, I need to think about this, but I am not cuddling in bed with you.
Mm-hmm.
Gets up, drops the scarf, walks away, and becomes this week's
Ass of the Week.
It was a nice walk away. It was an absolutely necessary crown given because it was in it was slightly in slow mo too. It wasn't like full slow mo, but there was a slight like, you know what I mean? Like a little.
And a little wobble.
Yes. Yeah.
He did watch her walk away and was like,
oh yeah. He was thinking she's about to get ass of the week.
Obviously.
It's like, that's exactly what was going through his head. He's like, I fucked it up with the girl that's going to get ass of the week this week.
Yeah, and that's on him at that point. You know, you just got to take an L sometimes. You got to be like, oh, yeah, that was on me. I could have done this. I could have done this better. Yeah. Well, whatever. It is now time to move on to some dates. We're on dates, even though we only saw two people get asked out on dates. But whatever, it's Temptation Island. It is the greatest test in the world. Hall is with Michaela, again, because he has eyeballs. And I want to give him credit in this situation because of his eyeballs.
I know exactly what you're talking about. The fact that he was able to keep them up, I wasn't. I failed.
I don't know how he did it. Look at this shot on YouTube right now. This is what he could have been staring at. And look at where his eyeballs are. He is zoned in.
He didn't waver.
He didn't waver. Now, I will tell you, I've watched enough reality TV to know that that is not a shot you usually shoot. That is usually a one shot. We don't put people in two shots because we need to give room for editing. So if she's touching her hair and then we need to cut to her and she's standing the other way, we can't use that. The cameraman wanted to stare at that all day long. That's why that shot is that wide, boys and girls. The cameraman. Congratulations, sir. Thank you so much.
The whole like layout of that shot was so calculated strictly for that.
Listen.
So funny.
Their whole conversation, he did not look towards her chestal region once. Bravo, sir.
Honestly, Doorway is killing it for me this whole season so far. I'm a big Doorway fan. I like him with Michaela, and I also like him with Oates, so I'm just confused as to what I want. I think I just like Doorway.
Throuple.
They honestly would be a great throuple.
They'd be a dynamic throuple that I would subscribe to their OnlyFans for. Serious about that. I'd be like, take my money, you three. Just take it. I want to play a clip from Doorway here, and I want to know if this changes your mind or just reinforces how much you like Doorway. Play the clip.
I really want Michaela to block out the idea that I have a fiance because I really want her to continue to get to know me for me.
Mixie?
I mean...
Could you forget that he's engaged?
I also did say that he is the king of inserting his foot directly into his mouth.
Facts.
I think that he's just kind of like a goofy guy. And it's like, I wish she forgot I was engaged. Like, I kind of feel like that was taken a little bit out of context because he does just like joke around a lot. Because the way he talks about Oates to her is very positive and like, I mean, at the bonfire, they showed Oates a clip, and I was like, that's the worst clip they could have possibly shown of Doorway, because he's not doing or really saying anything that's bad.
They could have shown him, like, shaking his head as he was getting his groin actually grinded down, like you're grinding down some teeth about to get a crown on or something like that from Michaela.
I don't think Oates would care about that, though. I don't think... She seems like... Yeah. She seems like she's totally okay with that.
That was the best clip they could have played because you're right. Oates is more about like the emotional aspect of where he is and that he actually wants her and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So that was like the perfect clip to play there. So yeah. So again, we're on the dates. Hall is not focused on what everybody else in America is focused on. And then we get to our girl Croissant. Croissant and bicycles do not mix, apparently.
I never would have guessed it.
That was my question. On a scale from 1 to 10, your level of surprise that Croissant cannot ride a bike is what?
I feel like she could have, honestly. Like, I feel like my surprise was at the 10. But I feel like she had some athleticism when she was on there. I mean, Taj, is that his name? He did a terrible job of he did a terrible job of teaching her, and yet she still had a pretty good grip on what was going on. I think he needed to tell her where the brakes were, and then she would have been fine. The thing that killed me about this whole thing is that fucker got on a bike with everyone else and just pedaled away, and then they're leaving Croissant there.
They just left her.
Just watching them leave.
They just left her. He's like, well, I gotta go with everyone else. See you later.
That would be nail in the coffin.
I think it was for her. She was really pissed.
I don't think she was pissed about that. I think she was pissed because afterwards they were talking and he wasn't like giving the answers she wanted, which I don't disagree with what she was saying. She was saying like that he didn't really have a stance on things, which that is annoying when people are just like, yeah, yes, whatever you think. Absolutely. But the whole, like, he can't take things seriously. Like, he just taught you how to ride a bike. He's telling you to not step in horse shit. Like, chill out. You're day 3 with these people. Why? This whole, like, it's not important that we have fun. I want to have serious conversations. Bitch, the guy you're with, that you're dating now, has cheated on you how many times?
It's so weird because you just said 20 minutes ago on this program that you were about to S some guy's D if cameras were not there. And then you're like, I'm just pissed that he's saying he just really wants to have fun and doesn't want to like build a real connection. None of them do. And this is him just being real like, hey, listen.
Yeah.
He said all these motherfuckers are lying, saying that they want to have he actually like switched his voice. He's like, I want to have a real connection and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, we're all trying to have fun. We all just want to fuck, okay? Mm-hmm. And she's like, I don't like that. And I'm like, you just said you were about to ask someone's D if the cameras weren't there.
And then when they get back and they're talking about the date, she's like, I mean, if I would definitely fuck him, but I wouldn't go on another date with him.
She's like, I'm probably going to ask him on the next date. too. She's like, oh, I think everything he just finds everything funny, and I don't like that. You want to be with somebody who doesn't find things funny? Croissant, what are you doing?
And then Gone Girl sees that Croissant is taking her crazy, and she goes, that can't happen. So then she jumps in, and she's like, I think I'm going to take him on a date because that shit won't fly with me. And I'll set him straight. I'm going to fix him. And Croissant's like, bitch, get off my man. What the fuck are you talking about? And I'm sitting there like, Croissant, I need you to take Bryce out on the next date. I need it to happen.
Oates goes, do we all just ask out Bryce now? She said that right in front. Do we all go out with Bryce? And they're all laughing. And I'm like,
do it.
Gone Girl, don't murder her. Don't murder Oates. Gone Girl, don't murder Oates. Please leave Oates alone. Leave Oates alone. She said it as a joke. Please don't murder Oates.
I need it. I need it bad. Well, especially now that Gone Girl is pissed. I wonder what she's going to do. Because Gone Girl, after the bonfire, she's ready for blood. So I think she's going to completely change her approach now. Who knows? But that whole interaction was just such a fucking mindfuck. I could not understand.
I watched it twice. I did watch it twice. It was fantastic to just play it back and be like, oh, this is so good. Because I don't know if Gone Girl was trying to be like, hey, I'll be a supportive queen to you and put him in his place. Or if she secretly was like, that's what I want. Like, I want a guy who's like that. Because she said some shit like that, too. She's like, I want a guy who's just like this, that. And I'm like, oh, she's trying to move in on the guy who just wants to fuck while here. You know, Croissant is like, I want a real relationship. While just saying, oh, I'd fuck that guy. I would have S that other guy's D within like 2 days of being on this island. I think maybe you're the fuck girl here, Croissant.
It's so upside down. It really is. It's so funny. And then she was like, I'm scared to talk to him. Like, I can't get my words together when I talk to him. And then she's mad that he's not talking to her the way she was. Like,
I'm just like, this is what it's like being like a 24-year-old person. Like, it's just like these problems you think you have are just so like minuscule. Mm-hmm. And then you're right. Like, Gone Girl is like being these people's age. And poor Oates is sitting there like, I really thought this would help our relationship. I'm with these crazy bitches. I just didn't want to get married because I have a successful like personal training company. I don't want to have like a baby right now because I'm like all tone and shit. And I can't like help out my people being tone and shit while I'm pregnant. That's why we're here. You guys are crazy. You need like a year of Temptation Island to get where I'm at this point. I just feel bad for Oates because Oates is like, we are in very different places for what we need here.
Oates is in a completely different show compared to the other three, for sure. We hop, skip, and jump over to the guy's villa.
Yes.
And now Rob is once again blacked out. This man cannot handle his alcohol. Every time we see him at night, I'm going to just assume he's drunk as fuck.
He's like Seashells from last year. Yeah.
Yes. Yep, he is. He's talking to Tia because, backstory is a bunch of girls told him that Danielle, I think was her name, is like the girl that he should be going for. So then all of a sudden, we didn't see any of this happen. Literally, the last conversation we saw of Raw was him being like, I was going to ask Tia out, but she went for great. Now, fuck her. All of a sudden, he is head over heels for this Danielle girl.
I think it's Des.
Des?
Yeah, it's Desiree, but they call her Des. Yeah.
Okay. He's head over heels for this Des chick. Des is best friends with Tia, so Des won't do anything with Rob until Rob talks to Tia. Rob is entirely too blacked out to have this conversation, so he says, why don't we talk to her together? Horrible idea.
Horrible
Terrible.
Idea. This is just playing out like last year with Seashells. Being blackout, having conversations she should not be having while being blacked out. We also have Trace 2.0 this year who thinks she should be in charge of another man. It's the same tropes coming back, and I'm all here for it.
They get Tia, Des, and Rob. Des says absolutely nothing the whole time. She's just sitting there in the fetal position, like terrified. Tia's like, I want to talk to you alone. And he's like, just say it here. Say it here. I want to be with Des. I'm saying it here. Why can't you say it here? And then she looks at Des and goes, you can go now. Or something like that. She's like, you can excuse yourself. It's like, oh, God.
And Des is like, thank God you're doing me a favor. You think you're punishing me. You're giving me a reason to get out of here and go have a drink.
So Rob then proceeds to dump her again. She says it's not fair and that she should be given another chance. Just a little PSA tip to all the gals out there. If a guy does this to you, just stop. He doesn't want it. And if he does want it, then he's unable to make a decision, and you don't want that either. So you've won the situation. Exit. She does not take that advice, continues to try to get him to like her. He refuses. So then she pivots to, well, Des doesn't even want to be in a relationship. And then he's like, she didn't say that. She's like, well, I'm not saying it. You should talk to her. But allegedly, she doesn't want to be in a relationship.
Yeah, she's 26 and she lives in LA. I don't think you, who lives, I think they're in San Diego, so they're close enough. But still, you're right. If a guy is saying no at that point, and you're like, well, let me tell you why you should, and he goes, okay, he's only going to stay okay because he now knows it's an easy deal to sleep with you. And then he's going to fuck you, and then he's going to be like, deuces, I'm out. And then you're going to be like, what happened? And he's like, well, I tried to say that I wasn't interested, but you weren't having any of that.
Yep.
And then I thought we could make it work, a.k.a. you were an easy bang, so I banged you, and now I'm like, I don't want you to get any feelings, so I'm doing you a favor at this point. So just move on, ladies. I don't understand this whole cycle of women liking men who don't like them. I just don't understand it.
I don't get it either.
There are so many men who would literally cut off a wrist to be with somebody. And they're just like, nah, I'm going to be with the guy who kind of doesn't want to be with me because I like him. What are we doing, ladies? What are we doing? I don't want to settle. No. Rearrange what you're thinking about, what you need.
On the flip side, how terrible is Rob and Gone Girl's relationship? He has yet to spend an entire 24 hours with the same girl, and he still is vocalizing that he doesn't want to leave with Vanessa already.
Would you?
No, but I don't even know how they got here.
I feel like Rob Roberto was a hostage in their relationship.
Yeah.
And he's like, how about we go on this show? Because you were on another reality show, and I think you want to be on reality television, and we can go test our relationship. And she's like, sure, that's great. And he gets to the island. He's like, I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. Thank God. I got away from her. I got away from Gone Girl.
She was on another reality show?
She was on another reality show for a little while. Yeah, I saw that pop
Dating?
up. No, it wasn't a dating show, but it was a while ago. It was a small little thing. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I'll find it and get back to you on it. But yeah.
Thank you.
It is just ridiculous. That whole interaction, there's got to be, that's when you need a friend. That's when you need a sober friend to come over and be like, you're not doing this right now, man. Mm-hmm. You had your moment yesterday in the hot tub where you started yelling at women. I can't have you be in the seashells of this year. Okay.
He is though.
We're pulling it back. I know you want to talk about emotions, but let's move away from this, okay? Let's move away from this.
This is how we're going to see him the entire season, I'm telling you right now.
Burlesque party was wild.
Wild.
I thought last week had a lot of ass shaking. Incorrect. Incorrect. In relation to this week, it made last week look like a children's party.
It did.
They were blurring out girls' shirts because their nips were clearly showing through. There was grinding. There was maneuvers that you would usually do naked that they were doing clothed. I was like, oh my God.
They were making it too easy for me on the ass of the week situation, so I had to pick something that wasn't the burlesque. Again, also, I don't think there was ever a shot during the burlesque, and maybe there was, but it wasn't very clear, of just a single ass. Pretty much every time it was 3 asses back to back, all shaking on top of each other. And I was just like, I don't know whose ass is connected to who. I didn't want to have to dig through all of that ass. So I went with the ass that I picked originally. But I love, because last year I remember us talking about how they would just like go to Party City and walk down an aisle and be like, this is the theme for this week. Now I feel like the themes are just to see how little clothing we can put them in.
Yes, I do agree with you. Clearly they listened to the number one last year and they're like, we got to step it up. Mm-hmm. I was saying that during the burlesque party. And then we go over to the women's villa and I changed my mind. Because we had a tiki party last week. We had a burlesque party last week at the men's villa. Last week at the girls' villa, we played Truth or Drink, which is not a tiki party or a burlesque party.
No.
And they're like, oh, let's give the girls a party this week. Burlesque, tiki, what's going to be the girls' theme? Boys and babes.
That's not a theme. That's just two different sexes.
We said this all last year. There is clearly somebody who's doing the parties for one house and somebody who's doing the party for the other house. And it is very clear who's better at their job.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I agree with you with that one. Because the girls came out and I was like, oh, it's a Barbie, like Barbie and Ken. That would have been fun. But no, we did. Because they looked like Barbies. They all were like in their Barbie clothing. And actually, I'm pretty sure Gone Girl had a shirt that said her like one piece had Barbie written on it.
Here's what I think happened.
Trademark?
Yeah. I think they were like, we'll have a Barbie party. And then they recorded and they're like, I don't know if we can say Barbie. Like, they're like, that movie's going to be coming out next year. We should have that as a party. And they're like, yeah, but I don't think we can do that. So I think they had them record two different things. Because listen to what our lead F-boy, President F-boy has to say about the party. Here we go.
So tonight is the boys and babes party. I'm bringing in lifeguard vibes because, you know, I'm trying to dive in.
I don't see how that's related. How is that? How is a lifeguard? Because a lifeguard's a boy? The themes are horrific over at the ladies' house.
I would like to state, because of that last clip, I think that the deal has been sealed. I think that there's no discussion necessary. Tajik is now no longer going to be referred to by his God-given name and will be referred to as and only as King Fuckboy.
Oh, King Fuckboy. I like King Fuckboy. Yes, King Fuckboy.
King Fuckboy. He will be King Fuckboy, and that is it. And we will not be struggling with his name anymore. It's half the reason we give people nicknames, by the way.
Respectfully.
What a comment, though. You gotta love that shit. You know what I mean? Like, and you know that these guys, especially the single guys, are like, what stupid shit can I say to get in this show? How can I make something so dumb that they must use it? And that is an example of that.
I think he and like the New Zealand guy that I've heard from a little bit are the only two men in the women's villa I'm hearing anything from. Mm-hmm. And Bryce in the next clip we're about to play. There's 8 guys over there. I've heard from only 3 of them. And from King Fuckboy is like running the show over there. I'm hearing nothing from all these other poor guys.
He is. That whole conversation with Gone Girl and Bryce, I have no idea what happened.
I will play this audio. I'm going to do this because the audio from this show this week is on another level. It's just another level of stuff that we're having. I was not prepared to bring back audio clips because we're doing audio and video now, so it's a little bit trickier. But I have to do it for you guys. I just have to do it for the hotties in the community. I just have to do it. So this audio is from Gone Girl asking Bryce, the man of 25 years old, whose body count is 93. You're not going to be able to hear what he has to say, like his answer to her question. So I will tell you what he says. We will then play the audio where you will hear her question. You will not be able to hear what he says, but then you'll hear her response after that, and then we will all laugh and go, Jesus Christ. Okay, that's the idea of what's going to happen here. All right?
All right, great. Uh-huh.
So what you cannot hear is his answer is, that's what you're here for. Okay? So that's what it is. Here's the audio from Gone Girl.
How did you feel about me being on a date today? Why is you so supportive about this? You're pissing me off.
It's just So I keep going back when like she says shit like this. I keep going back to there was a clip. I can't remember if it was the first or second episode or what it was, but she was talking about how her mom raised her. Do you remember this? Her mom said that all men cheat. You just have to find one that loves you enough that you won't find out.
I think that was episode 2. Yeah.
Which the fact that we didn't even discuss that in episode 2, that's how much crazy shit goes on in this goddamn season. But if that's her mindset, then yeah, I'm sure being supportive is toxic. But I would love to like just sit down and like really like 60 minutes with her, like questions about this stuff. Like, in what way? Just explain to me how being supportive is bad. Go.
I mean, Mr. Marky Mark tried in the bonfire that we're just about to talk about.
It was so good.
He tried to have her have a discussion, and she literally says, I'm not doing this with you, Mark. And he goes, you're not doing what? I'm not doing this with you, Mark. And I'm just like, Gone Girl, what do you think you're here for? You think you can just say no to Mr. Marky Mark and a bonfire? Who the fuck do you think you are, Gone Girl? You're going to say no to him?
My favorite part of that whole thing was him looking her dead in the eyes and saying, I'm not scared of you. I was like, no, he's fucking not. He'd fucking murder your ass, bitch. He'll fuck you up.
Yeah, Marky Mark, get her.
That was the best.
God, he's so good.
That conversation with Bryce, I was just like, I mean, this is what I'm saying. It didn't make any sense to me. Nothing was logical. Nothing made sense. They like ended it in a positive way, but I still don't really understand how.
He was trying to be like, listen, I'm here to support you however you want in this process. And she's like, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but like, whatever. We'll keep trying to figure it out. I'm like, you need to run too, Bryce. Just get the fuck out of there.
But if your thought process is correct that he gets a bonus for these dates, that's the only reason that I can make sense that he is actually sticking this out. I can't think of a single man that would deal with that shit.
No, it's no.
How long would you last in a situation like that? How much money would you need to be getting on a daily bonus basis to pretend like you were interested in this woman?
While I'm on Temptation Island?
Yeah. You are Bryce. Theoretically, you're getting a bonus every day for continuing to date this woman. What is the price point?
$3,000 to $5,000?
Damn. There's no way he's getting that.
Here's the other thing. Like, if I'm Bryce and I look at these other women and I'm interested in these other women too, but I know now that Gone Girl, like, will literally Gone Girl me if I try to be with any of these other women, I'm going to need a little bit extra money because some of these other women are attractive and I might want to bang them and make them Miss number 94. Mm-hmm. That's a big title to give out, Miss 94, because I think that might be his birth year, 94. So that's a big title to give away.
I'm 94, Stephen. My birth year is 94. I appreciate you thinking I am that young. I will accept that, but I am not. Okay. You need to subtract like 4 years from that.
Not you. Not you. He wants to crown the next woman he sleeps with.
94, but you were saying 94 is his birth year. I'm saying my birth year is 94 and I'm 28.
Oh. Yeah, I don't math.
I don't know why I even tried to math. Cut it.
Let's see, 5, 6, 7. Oh yeah, I'm way off, aren't I? Yeah, I'm not even close there.
It was a fun joke though that I just shat all over with my calculations. And I will take a step back.
Yeah, do some learning and growing and just
I'm
realizing
gonna learn and grow on that. That's on me.
Where the joke was, but yeah, that's
Goddamn
fine.
Goddamn bitch, me. Let's go to the bonfire.
I've been waiting for the first bonfire since the very first episode because the very first bonfire always sets the tone for what we're gonna do. And I love to see, and I don't know about you, Mixie, I love to see where they start. Like, I try to guess the order they're going to go in.
Ooh, that's fun. No, but I should try that.
You should try it. You should try it. Because when it came to the women, I did not think that Oates was going to go first, honestly.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought maybe she was going to be second. Why?
Can I understand your breakdown of that? Because in my mind, if I'm playing the game now, Vanessa's last. Croissant is second to last, and then the other two are interchangeable in my mind.
Yeah, but that's not at all where they went. Like
I know.
I thought Maricela was actually going to be first because I thought they were going to give like a kind of a bump, right? Like, ooh, wow, oh yeah, bonfire stuff, and then go back to oats and then build again. Mm-hmm. Because I definitely thought Croissant was going to be at the end. I thought Croissant was going to be last, Vanessa was going to be third, Oats second, and then Maricela first.
See, I knew they were going to show Vanessa the clip of him saying that he's probably not going to leave it there. I knew that. I was so excited. I was waiting for it.
I was just happy we saw everything we did in this, and it was just fantastic.
It was so good.
I love that Mr. Marky Mark can shine. It's been over a year without him shining at a bonfire, so I'm very glad that we have this back. And we did start with Oats. Oats, we did like actually learn something from Oats because they played the clip of him of Doorway with Michaela, and he's like, you know, you got really excited when I saw in your eyes how excited you were to start a family whenever your non-existent timeline is. She never looks that way when I mention it. And what I think was interesting is they cut out the part where he said, I think she wants to just have a family, or she says she's excited just for me.
For me. Yeah, I'm curious if they did cut that out or if that was the full clip that they showed Oats and we just didn't see all of it.
Yeah, I think she's doing that for me, and I was just like, oh my God. But Oats said it's going to be 3 to 4 years before she's ready. Mm-hmm. That puts Hall at 39, I think. And I think when people say 3 to 4 years, to me that means 5 to 6 years.
5. And that also is if everything goes according to plan, like if they start having kids and she gets pregnant immediately, which is rare.
And I'm thinking, okay, you've been engaged for what? What did they say, 2 years? So are you gonna get married in the meantime? And then do it? You think you're gonna be? Do you really want? I don't think she wants to have kids. I'm just gonna say it.
I don't think she does either, but she doesn't want to lose him.
And I think she goes, "This is my guy. I'm afraid." I think she's afraid, based off her friends and seeing the dating scene in Charleston, that everybody is just a different level of fuckboy where she's at her age. And she goes, he's got that out of his system. He's a great guy. I'll just do it so I don't end up alone at 38 and get a lesser person. I think that's where she's at. And that's really sad. But I do think there's a lot of women who get to a certain age and go, I'll just take what's available now at this point.
I agree with you for sure. I think that's exactly where she's at. And I think that clip wasn't surprising to her at all.
No, she was like, we have this conversation weekly and I am still not going to open up yet.
And this goes back to what I'm saying about my man Doorway. He is playing this game so well. He gave them no footage to work with to fuck with her. None. He's killing it.
Do you think they will try to give it something at some point if she's not moving on anything?
I think that he's going to start getting pretty damn close to Michaela.
I think so too. I think there's going to be like a close makeout at some point here, right?
I don't even know if a makeout. I think it'll be like more. I think she would care more about like emotionally cheating than a physical cheating. Like him saying something like, I can't imagine you not being in my life, or something like that, where it's like deep and emotional connection. I think that'll upset her more, because that's all she's been saying is like, we're great together, we just have lost the romance. So if like he starts romancing this girl, I think that's when she's gonna really get upset.
Okay, I'm very glad you brought this up. What do you expect to happen at this point? Have you talked to people who have been in relationships for like 10, 20 plus years? Do you think it's going to feel the same as it does year 1, year 2, year 3? No. Like, I haven't been in a relationship that long. I know that's true. What do you think's going to happen? Why is this a constant thing that people keep bringing up as if they just think it's all fucking flowers and sausages every single fucking day?
It's so crazy, that whole concept. Like, I think that honestly a large majority of it is like movies and also like social media, people being like, this is the best 10 years of my life and all of this shit.
Awful. And then I celebrate when they break up, by the way. I fucking celebrate every time. Oh, Man Crush Monday, he's the best person I've ever known in my life. And then they break up. I'm like, guess fucking not.
Yeah.
Time to party, everybody. It was all a lie.
It's so important to, you got to constantly be working on your relationship. The only actually good, healthy, positive, full circle relationships that exist are the ones that aren't just coasting as roommates. Like she was saying, like you have to be putting effort in or you are going to get in a point where you're stuck. Like, you know what I mean? And it's not like it's all going to be a honeymoon for 12, 15 years. That's not realistic either. But you could also still be that happy just in different ways because you're growing, learning and growing with each other. It's important. We always talk about that. But this whole like, we've been together 8 years and it's not as exciting as it was in the beginning. No shit.
Yeah. If it was, I think there would be a problem because I'd be like, what are you guys doing? Like, is he like kidnapping you at work and then like taking you somewhere and then you think you've been kidnapped by somebody and you're like, oh no, it's just Hall. Oh my God, it's so exciting. He's so spontaneous. Oh my God.
Yeah. And that's why these people cheat because they can't find happiness outside of this like beginning spark. So then they go and find it with somebody else and then they're like, oh, this spark I'm feeling is great. You date for a year. Guess what? That spark's gone away. And guess what? He's found a spark in his coworker. And boom, we've sparked again. And now we're cheating and we're doing it again. Sandoval.
I just want to say this one thing. I just want to say this one thing about this because you've brought this situation up and I will shout this from the mountaintops for a very long time. Ladies, when it comes to your gentleman, I hate to say this, but if you start treating him as an asexual object and he's basically a fashion accessory to you in your life and you are giving him nothing, there's no chances, you're constantly saying no to him every time he's trying to advance on you or trying to do anything where he might get a little bit of action from you, he's going to find it somewhere else. I'm sorry. It's gonna happen. Because that's what we are. Until we're like 65 years old, we want to feel wanted, okay? Even in the slightest bit, we want to feel that you want us.
I mean, even at 65. And you could also do it without, like, sex. Like, you can do it in other ways that are outside of that. Just giving, again, effort in some shape or form and not just cruising next to each other every day. That's not it. That's not a relationship.
It's not it. And if you look at these situations where people cheat, it's like, oh, well, yeah, they were like asexual people to each other. And then, yeah, he had an emotional relationship with somebody at work. And then they banged a couple times. Yeah, I'm sorry, but it happens, ladies. They want to feel that you want them and you desire them. Or if that's what they feel like their role is. And when they don't have that role, they're like, oh, I feel empty. And they're like, what's your problem? You seem to be so, oh God, you're never in a good mood. And he's like, yeah, I'm never in a good mood because you don't like me, I don't think. A cycle of it. Christ. All right, let's keep going.
Bad.
That was a PSA. Congratulations. You're welcome, everybody. Take that for you want.
From one just break up to the other, Croissant, when he's talking to Croissant, she says that she does feel bad for treating him poorly, but he needs to be treated that way to make him a better man.
Literally, what did I just say?
It's just insanity. The thing is that they're not just thinking this; they think it so much that they're using their mouths to vocalize it. That's the scary part.
Think about that. When you go to like therapy, and they make you talk like words until you say something, and then you're like, oh, I never thought that before. They're like, yeah, okay, now you've said, this is exactly what Mr. Mark's doing. She's already saying that. She's like, well, I'm just trying to change him so he's a better man. And Mr. Markey goes, exactly. And she's like, what? And he's like, nah, yeah. She's like, I do bully him and complain about him all the time. And I'm like, yeah, because we love that as men. We just really want a woman who bullies us and complains about us all the time. Oh, it gets me hard every time.
He gets heavy as fuck with it. He starts diving into daddy issues and fixes them in like 2 minutes flat. I'm like, holy shit, this man.
Oh, God, he's so good at it.
He's like, Croissant, do you think you could forgive your dad? And she's like,
I didn't think that was a thing I could do. Oh.
Crazy.
Let's move to Gone Girl. Speaking of crazy, let's go to Gone Girl.
I was so happy that was the clip they showed her. I'm so excited to see what comes from this. When she says that she was going to go over to that house and hit him with a shoe, I'm like, they better have security. Like, she's going to do that. They need to keep an eye on her.
She's going to Gone Girl him, okay? That's why we've named her Gone Girl.
They are.
Mixie, can you tell everybody who's not watching this fantastic television program the clip that they showed? I mean, we saw it, obviously. Mm-hmm. Can you tell everybody what they showed in the clip? And then I will react as I react watching that so you can understand how excited about this I was.
So they showed 2 clips. The first clip was him in the hot tub, as we had discussed last episode, where he was saying that she embarrasses him and that he like has to apologize for her actions at all times. And then they cut to the second clip, which is him in the kitchen. So
right here, everybody, is when I'm going to start reacting as if I did. So Mixie's going to keep talking, and then I will react as if the clip is playing for all of you.
Robert is in the kitchen with what's the whore?
Respectful.
And he is saying to Christopher, I don't think that
Yes.
He said, I already don't
Yes.
think that I
Yes.
am going to leave this island with
Watch
Vanessa.
this, Gone Girl. Watch this, Gone Girl. Yes. Yes, Gone Girl. Yes. Watch it all, Gone Girl.
And the girls, like the wide shot of all of the girls reacting to that was amazing. They all go, and she is fuming, and Mark is ready.
The nerve. Mark, I will walk over to that house and I will knock him upside the head with the shoe.
She is shooketh that he has the gall to say that. She has the gall to disrespect her that way. Not to mention all the things that she was doing in the last couple of episodes, but that's neither here nor there because it's never my fault. Right?
Doesn't matter.
No personal responsibility here on this television show.
And as Stephen stated before, Mark is trying to get her to talk, and she won't do it.
Who was the last person in your life that allowed you to break down, be vulnerable? Have you ever had that experience?
Mark, I'm not finna do this with you.
You're already doing it with me.
And then he finally breaks her.
Oh, yeah, get her, Mark! Get her! Get her! Push her in the pool, Mark!
I literally was sitting there like, oh, God.
Okay, we're back. We just had a moment of technical difficulties where Mixie's microphone it's on a stand. It literally jumped off the table at her.
It attacked me.
Yeah.
It attacked me. It's Team Gone Girl. My mic is Team Gone Girl. It does not like us discussing Gone Girl in a negative way.
It made a jump for her heart. It was trying to stab her through the heart, Gone Girl style.
But just like Mark, I am not scared. Okay?
No.
You do not scare me. I am unfazed.
You will not take this program down. Oh, Christ.
All right, I will say, so that my microphone and I are back on good terms, the one thing Vanessa did say that was actually factual, and I did agree with, she said, if you're so embarrassed by me, then why are you still with me? And once again, I sat there and said, just break up.
Just break up.
Break up.
Break up. He's with you because you're gripping his D like he's never experienced before. You're probably banging every single night, and this guy's like, well, I'm not going to not bang every night and be single like a loser.
Yeah.
I'll take the crazy sex for $200, please, every night. No, I'll wait until she leaves me, and then I'll find something else.
If I'm embarrassed at that level by my partner, I would leave them. You got to just leave at that point.
Yeah, but I don't think he thinks he can leave. I think
probably because he's like 20. So yeah.
Yeah. He thinks he's going to get tracked down and get Gone Girled, okay? That's what's going to happen.
That is true.
You think he can actually look at her, she would accept a breakup? Are we living in a world where we think Gone Girl would accept a breakup from him?
That's true. That's fair.
No chance she's accepting that.
That is a fair comment.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very nice. Should we get to Maricela?
Yes.
This poor woman. This poor girl. I don't think she should be on this television show, by the way.
No.
I don't feel like this is a good... I don't think this was the place to come.
Like I said, I think she was trying to find a third and got confused by the concept of the show.
She thought she was going to Love Island. She's like, oh, Temptation Island.
Uh-huh. It's the wrong island. I got off on the wrong stop on the island tour.
Oh, yeah. On Love Island. I'm with the other girls. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, I missed that. I got off at the wrong exit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Misread my itinerary. Sorry about that. We saw a clip for her that we hadn't seen before. He was talking about her checklist with what was her name? I forget her name.
Abby.
The girl who had to have her shirt blurred out because it was clear you could see her nips through her shirt. They had to blur out her shirt. So that's what Abby was.
He was air fucking her in that at the end of that clip as well. The thrusting in that.
Oh my God. When I was saying earlier they were doing sexual moves you would usually do without clothes, you were doing moves you would normally do without clothes on. This is what I was referring to.
That was aggressive.
Like this was like Karma Sutra type shit, like in the air in front of people.
I mean, it wasn't like clapping. It was bang, bang, bang. Like he was full.
This is what you would get from me. This is what you would get.
Yeah.
But he was like patting himself down with a big napkin because he was like probably thinking about how hot the sex would be with her. And he was like, she's got, first of all, a wild checklist this guy had, by the way.
Good credit.
Yeah, one of them was good credit, okay? Like...
And Maricela's like, I'm trying. My finances are not where they need to be right now. I'm like, what is happening?
Girl, it's okay. He was like, she's independent. She wakes up early. She's got good credit. I'm like, bro, those are your first three? Those are your first three? She's got her shit together. She's got a job. I'm like, oh, okay. Now we're getting a little bit back more on track here, buddy.
It was all over the place. And then it was like, she's a homebody. I'm like,
great. Okay. I don't think you're a homebody though at that time.
Exactly. And didn't he say that the two of them were together for like a year and they spent 3 days apart or some shit like that?
Yeah.
Like the rest of the time they were together at all points. So wouldn't you guys be homebodies at that point if you're spending every day together?
Oh my God. That was wild. And then they show the clip of like him just like banging that woman out of the air. And then they go, how does that make you feel? And she's like, yeah, I'm trying to work on my credit. I had some student loans I'm trying to pay back. I know it's just really hope those Biden student loan forgiveness goes through. That would really help me out a lot. But, I guess that's kind of what he's looking for. I'm just kind of embarrassed that all my family's going to see this. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I think I would be too. If the guy that I was with for 2 years was running down a checklist, and one of the things on his checklist was she gets up early, she's a homebody, and she's got good credit, I'd be like, yep, well, maybe I'm not exactly what he wants then.
Mm-hmm. But she did say that. She was like, I've told him that I don't think I'm the person for him, and yet he stays. So then, like, at that point, I don't know.
But does he? Because when we switch to the guys, there's like a little bit of insight there that he gives on his thing because he's up first.
Yeah.
Right? So they show him, the
clip of her right after they left, like right after they left each other.
Sobbing, right? Right when the ITM about her being into women and how that would affect her family and stuff like that. And Mr. Marky Mark kind of finds out, according to him, that she seems a little controlling. Wants to know where he's at all the time. Oh, she wants her space, but when I try to get a little bit of space, she needs to know everything about where I'm at, who I'm with. And again, to me, that's a little bit of a red flag. If you're like, who are you with? How long are you going to be gone? What time are you getting home? A little bit. I do appreciate some communication so your partner knows. But if I'm with somebody 24/7, 365, and 3 days after the whole year that I'm not with somebody, and they're like, when are you getting home? All that. I'm like, who else do you think I'm seeing? You don't give me enough time to see someone else if that's what you're worried about.
That whole clip was very interesting to me because Mark asked him if he has rules. And Christopher says that he does have rules. And Mark goes, what are some of those rules? And he goes, she asked me who I'm with, where I am, and when I'm coming home. I just really want to drive this home. A rule is a statement of something that you need to follow. A question is when you ask somebody something. The 3 things he listed off were questions. They were not rules. They were questions. And in my opinion, now if you're like blowing the person up and being like, who are you with? Send a picture. Where are you? Drop your location. Like that shit's ridiculous. But if it's like 2 a.m. and your boyfriend's been out for like 5 or 6 hours and you're trying to go to bed, sure, you text him, hey, when are you coming back? That makes sense to me. But I don't know what the context of it is.
But I don't think that's their relationship.
The problem I had with it is that isn't a rule. That is a question.
To him, that's a rule, though. That's what Marky Mark would say. He would go, why do you think that's a rule when that's just honest communication? He goes, because I try not to tell her and she gets angry. I do think there's a little bit to that relationship that we're going to really find that out in a couple weeks. Like something that really that's going to be the interesting one for Mr. Marky Mark to break. Mm-hmm. I think we will see like Hall & Oates will have some interesting things come out, but this Maricela and Christopher thing is going to be the most interesting one to get to the bottom to there.
I agree.
Let's get to the fantastical ending of this show.
So good. I'm so upset they cut it here, but I mean, that's showbiz, baby. Of course.
Mixie, would you like to tell us what this glorious thing is? Just tell us about this gloriness that I am so excited to listen to this again.
It's so funny because I was watching the ticker on the bottom and I was like, he said, all right, great, you're next. And I was like, damn it. I knew they were going to do this.
Yes.
They pull it up. They show her kind of talking to the girls. I think she said something along the lines of like she's excited to see what's going to happen or whatever, something like that. Or she's open.
Yeah, they didn't lead with this clip. They didn't lead with that. It was like...
So it was like a very softball. Then there was like a little bit less of a softball. She's getting danced on, and then the guy like gets off of her, and she like pretends to play dead, which again, not that bad in my mind. And then they go to the third clip, which is her saying that if there weren't cameras around, she would suck his dick.
And now, for everybody watching on YouTube, here's the faces of the gentlemen reacting. I mean, look at this. Look at these reactions.
So good.
The guys are just like they heard. I mean, it's how I think I would react. And I'm like, oh, it's probably going to be bad. And then you hear that and you're like, oh my God. Christopher was kind of laughing. Christopher was like.
Doorway was losing it. Doorway was laughing too.
And then and then Great at the bottom is just like.
He's stone-faced. Yeah,
What happened just now? Rob Roberto, wants to put his arm on him to make sure he doesn't fall over. The poor guys at the top are just like, holy shit, at least that's not me. Look, I mean, it was just...
The faces of those guys was so fucking funny. It was so funny.
It was great.
I watched it 3 times because it was just so good. The only thing I was upset about was that they didn't show Mark. I know Mark said when we interviewed him that for the most part he sees the clips beforehand. Yeah. God, I would have loved to be a fly on that wall when Mark saw that clip for the first time.
I want so desperately, and I hope somebody from Temptation Island production is watching this and listening to this. Can me and Mix come next year just for a few days?
Please. I will be a free PA.
Oh, I will free PA. I'll actually, you know what? Are we willing to state right here, Mixie? We will pay for our own trips out there as long as we can get some behind the scenes, or do they need to pay for the flight?
If they could pay for the board, I will pay for the flight.
Okay.
Transportation, I will pay for.
We'll pay for the flight. You pay for the hotel. We will PA for you for what? 2-3 days for free?
Free.
But we want to be in Video Village or the production truck on a bonfire day when there's a great clip like this. Because we want to see all of you fucking celebrate when you get a reaction like that. Because that's what this show is about.
Absolutely.
This show is about you sitting there going, we know exactly what clip we're going to play for Bonfire. As soon as she said that, they're like, cut this motherfucker up. We got a good one. Let's go. And then they're all sitting there. All right, are we ready? Everybody ready? Everybody ready? Mark, say great is up next. Great is up next. Great is up next. We're going to play that clip. Everybody's going to fall over. Ready? Play. And they're all just sitting there like, yee.
Sit there with my popcorn, just...
Yeah. So good.
Oh, God, what a beautiful ending to this episode. I cannot wait for the next episode. This is such a good season. This is what I think people were talking about last season when we were like, it's a little slow. They were like, you got to watch a different season. This is the shit. This is the shit we are here for. I'm excited about it. I cannot wait. We're going to have sex next episode.
This is all we want. We just want this to be the best it fucking possibly can be. And that's what they're delivering right now.
It's there.
Remember, if you want to do us a big favor and you want to support Mommy and Daddy Liquid IV, you can do that by going to liquidiv.com.
Get your glove on.
Ordering anything you want. Use code AIRHORNS. You get 20% off. We get a little bit of money from that. We really appreciate that. Get yourself hydrated after watching an incredible episode and seeing somebody, fall out of their chairs. I think if the guys who are watching that were a little bit more hydrated from Liquid IV, they probably would not have fallen over. But you know what? That's on them.
That is on them.
They should try the new tart green apple because it's very tart and it would keep them up straight. Yeah.
That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. Code AIRHORNS at checkout. We thank you guys so much. We appreciate you and we will see you next week. We love you. Bye.
Bye.